All right. There we go. Checkity check. What we got here? Got plenty of people in here. We got King Shadow, of course, always first, right? King Shadow. We got Quentin. We got Claire Redfield. We got Carlos. Unorthodox Gamer is back. Zero is here. What's up, guys? This is just like a little live stream hangout. Basically, any questions you have or super chats or whatever the fuck, I'll read. So, your real UJ, SG, Jeff Grun. We got the YouTube members in here looking nice with the green names and the badges. The great YouTube memberships. Thank you guys for supporting monthly, and really appreciate that. It's Caesar. What's up, man? Well, yes, it's kind of like a live stream hangout, just shooting the shit with you guys. Kind of want to do this weekly more, and I'm going to be doing it on Patreon as well, and YouTube memberships, where I can simultaneously stream stuff that's just for you guys, and then obviously stuff like this where it's publicly listed. So yeah, so any like questions you have or conversation starters with any kind of Resident Evil survival horror goodness, let's talk about it in the chat. Anything you guys want to talk about? Rambo, what's up, man? Thanks for coming by. I just watched what review did I watch yours? I watched the someone's top list. I think it was like the top list of the 90s. Someone that requested you to do. That's what it was. RE4 VR is looking more and more likely. RE4 Remake. Oh, I read it as VR. RE4 Remake. Well, RE4 Remake is already happening. I don't want people to get it twisted. They are remaking Resident Evil 4 already. Not only did we get, teases leading up to the concept art that actually officially, wasn't supposed to come out, but it did for Wesker. We know now that that's kind of what they're doing. Now, whether or not they decide to, tease it this year, I think they will do something in that regard, but I don't think we're going to be getting it until 2024, because I think if they're going to do Resident Evil 4, they're going to take their time, right? And, we're 17 years. I have a video coming out this week that is going to be talking about my Resident Evil 4 memories. So, Resident Evil 4 is kind of like the topic in the Resident Evil community now, because it's the next remake. It's now that Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 are kind of under the fans' belts, and we've seen how they can, handle everything in the RE engine. Now it's more time to kind of see, okay, what are they going to do with RE4? What are they going to cut out? So, it's I have a feeling that we are going to get some changes. I don't think it's going to be exactly what people want, but again, it's very weird because RE4 is like a more modern game, right? So, we got a super chat from Dylan Schmelzinger. Thank you, Dylan. $4.99 super chat. What's up, bro? Wanted to let you know that pod you did with the road trick was A+. She was very knowledgeable, and you represented LTRE very well. Yes, Beggy was a great guest, and yes, that episode is out now. If you want to talk about, or if you want to listen to us talk about, horror films and film influences and the different styles of horror that Resident Evil kind of took from American filmmaking, Italian filmmaking, it's really cool. It was a really fun conversation. A lot of people seem to be digging it. So, Rambo says, "Thank you. Are there any fan Resident Evil game projects which are your favorites?" That's a good question. Fan projects, I think, to be honest with you, I loved the HD mods that they have for Dolphin Emulator for Resident Evil 2 and 3. You know, it's not a specific like, you know, skin mod or the typical character swap mod, but the way they did the textures, holy shit, man. It's like you're playing, you know, it's like you're just playing it with just up-resed, but it looks so crisp. Like the menu, the text, like everything was kind of very thoroughly. You can tell they put effort into it. And that's probably my favorite fan mod that I've played. And, you know, I obviously am a person of like, I like to hook up the old console when I play it on live stream, or I like to use the controller. We've used emulators in the past when me and John would stream. Like we would use, you know, Dolphin and stuff like that. And it's great. And I've streamed the HD mods. But I do like playing it in the old style. But sometimes, man, like you're playing it on the new shit. You're like, man, this is like really, really good. And you can plug in, you know, your Xbox controller, your PlayStation, whatever controller you want, and it looks really good. So that's probably one of my favorites. I know there's a lot of modded stuff like fan remakes and stuff. I haven't really dived into that, but it's all potential content. So it's stuff that I'll probably end up discussing and talking about, just so I kind of have an opinion on it. And if it is crappy, it's crappy, or if it's good, it's good, you know, because at least I'll be judging it from like a fan's perspective. Because that's you know, the mods kind of go all day because fans will do, you know, they'll have their way with the PC stuff, because, you know, everything on PC it's free reign. Like if you have the PC to do it, man, like mods are great. And Dolphin emulator, like that's stuff that you can run on PC that, like, you know, and you can put mods on consoles too. I know a lot of like the hacked PS4 and stuff like that. You can put mods on all of that stuff. So it's actually kind of cool that you can even do that beyond just the PC player base, because sometimes, you know, people don't have stuff for it. You know, you got to build something that can run properly, or if you're streaming it or recording it at the same time. But let's see here. Caesar says, I also think that they can reuse a lot from Village, so it's cheap. I wonder if they're going to include the bolt cutters. They probably will. And yeah, I think it's safe to say that they would probably, you know, use a lot of the same resources because it is Resident Evil. It is, you know, Resident Evil engine, right? And they want these games to... My cat is just like plopping here on the fucking... Just like laying down. But yeah, you know, again, the Resident Evil engine it's a big thing for next gen. It looks great, and obviously they can use a lot of the same resources there, because that's not, you know, it's not hard for them to say, okay, we're gonna take, you know, Leon, and we'll just, you know, give him a redesign, give all the Los Illuminados and everything. So, we'll see, man. We'll see. Let's see. On my way to platinuming RE0 remastered for the third time. Damn, Chris Kennedy, for the third time? Did you what? Like play it on PS3, play it on PS4, and play it on, like, what are you playing it on that you're platinuming it that many times? That's crazy. Yeah, I'm not really a platinum guy. You know, I've gotten some platinums in the past, and I've gone for platinums, and I still will. But I've always been an achievement guy on Xbox because I, you know, put the most time into achievement hunting. That was something I would actually do back in the day. So I do want to get all of the Resident Evil, like, platinums and stuff like that. Like, that would be cool to have that under my belt, obviously. But also completing them on Xbox, too. You know, 1,000 gamer score, stuff like that. Whether you're completing it on one or the other, it's technically completing a game, right? 100%ing a game. So I do have platinums. I have a few, you know, that I'm proud of. I got the RE6 Platinum, for example. That was pretty crazy. For example, though, I have, you know, an Xbox 360 right next to me. You can't see it, but the Xbox 360 is pretty much going to be used to boost achievements, right? So on 360, fun story. Let me take a sip of a drink real quick. I put a lot of my time into playing Resident Evil on 360, right? I didn't play them on PS3, you know. It was my dad who had the PS3. And for a long time, the PS3 Blu-ray drive broke, so we couldn't play it. $650 later, you know, when you buy a PS3 and the fucking Blu-ray drive breaks, you'd be pissed off too, right? At least with the Red Ring of Death with Xbox, it still was a pain in the ass to get the Red Ring of Death, but they would fix it for free. They ate that loss, right? That's what a company should do, is you step up to the plate, you fix the problem for free, and you make your customers happy. That's what you have to do, right? To keep people in that ecosystem. So I was in Xbox and Xbox 360. So with Resident Evil, the first thing that I got was Resident Evil 5, because that was the first thing that was on 360. An Xbox, a Resident Evil Xbox. There was nothing on the first Xbox. The first 360 with this brand new co-op game. Of course, it was going to be on PS3 and 360, right? So my achievement hunting on that and getting all the achievements was pretty much like, it just kind of was natural for me to start it on Xbox, because I was like, well, I already am starting to get a bunch of achievements. And I completed Resident Evil 5. I got all the achievements in Versus mode. I got all the achievements in the campaign. It was a bitch by the end of it, because playing it for like 2 years straight, I think it's taxing, but I just started to get, 1,000 gamer score or whatever. With Resident Evil 6, that's something that I'm actually currently trying to boost on my old 360 account, because my Xbox account that I use is the same account I've always used. So I still technically have my RE6 on 360 incomplete. So, the OCD mindset sometimes that I have with achievements is I'm like, well, I got to complete it because I got like 71 out of 76, right? For example, or something like that. And they're easy to do. So I think I'm going to probably do like a little video diary of like me, boosting those achievements and tracking my progress, or just something stupid, Operation Raccoon City, I did complete. So I did most of the stuff on 360. The only thing I didn't do was Code Veronica, which I would also do on PlayStation. So the problem is that if you just play it over and over again, it's like, obviously you get used to it. So, that's a whole thing. Let's see. Rambo says, by the way, I was able to buy Die Hard Arcade by cheesing the PS3. You make a fake profile from Japan Store and you can buy online PS2 games. So not sure if there's any Resident Evil. Oh, that's really cool, man. I didn't even know that was on the Japanese marketplace. Like, why Die Hard Arcade? What the hell? But that's really cool. I've actually, it's funny enough, I actually did that on 360. I made a Japanese account one time, and it was strictly just to download the Resident Evil or Biohazard 5 demo, because it was a co-op demo, and as soon as I heard about it, I was like, how do I do it? And I signed up by putting like a Japanese address and like all that stuff, and it worked, and I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's cool, man. And what's funny is that Sony just started to put PS3 games started to appear on the PS4 store and PS5 store, right? So, or the PS5 store, I should say. But so it's hinting that, obviously very soon they're going to start doing backwards compatible games more and more. So hopefully that library expands. Better late than never, but they really neglected backwards compatibility big time up until this point. That goes without saying. How's RE0 and 1 on the Switch? Worth a buy? Yeah, I mean, I think so. If you have a Switch, they run, just as good as they would run on there. I think they run in 30. I don't know if they run in 60. I haven't really tried the 0. I've tried Remake, and it runs pretty good. But even if it runs in 30, if you just have Remake and 0 on the go, it's pretty good. Those are great games. Rambo says, for Resident Evil 4 Remake, will it be looked at as on PC with how crazy the world is? Either way, either they get offended by the accents or whatever stupid stuff. Honestly, I hope not. I mean, I just hope that it's on PC, because at the end of the day, like, it's Resident Evil. You know what I mean? It's a fictional story, and it's a violent game. And I think it has to keep balls, I think too much stuff nowadays is not like that. You just don't have balls anymore. And it's like, and no one wants to say what they feel. And I think with Resident Evil 4 Remake, you got to just like keep it violent, keep it gruesome. It's still in Spain. So you're going to be killing Spanish people as an American going into a Spanish village. And that's just the way that it is, unless they change the location entirely, but that would just be ridiculous because that would be a lie. It would be like just saying, oh yeah, RE4 didn't happen this way. It's like, no, everyone remembers Resident Evil 4 happening a specific way. And it's not like, Leon's going in there and just killing people. He's trying to find the president's daughter and he's getting attacked. What else would you do as a government agent, So hopefully they keep it having balls. Zero says RE4 Remake will not be that good. Watch. Capcom is going to cut a lot and make it shorter. I hope not. Rambo says your opinion on the hand cannon Resident Evil 4. I could never get it because I suck at the RE4 mercs. The hand cannon is actually really good. It's a one hit, but the thing is the Chicago typewriter is pretty much like the same thing like the Tommy gun because it's like a one hit kind of kill or 1 or 2 hit kill. So it's very like they're both really good. Emmanuel says, do you think RE4 Remake will release late this year or next year? Nah, man. Emmanuel, I think we're talking 2024. It's going to be a while. I bet RE4 Remake will be shorter than RE3 Remake. I hope not. Unorthodox says, I heard Capcom doesn't want to release RE4 Remake in 2024 because they want to release RE9 that year. Well, then 2023 could be, that could be easily a release date. We know how they like to do like a remake and then, a mainline game the next year. They do that all the time, considering they always have different teams working on these things, right? Sand King says, hello, Anthony. What do you think we can expect from Code Veronica Remake? I don't know because, who knows if they're going to do it. RE4 is the moneymaker right now. So I hope that we get something, soon because Code Veronica has its fans, but I don't think Capcom looks at it as successful. I don't know why, but they just don't. But it has a cult following. So Rambo says, you've talked about Resident Evil 3 Remake. In reflection, how do you feel about the backlash it has gotten? The sales being half of R2 Remake, has it hurt anything, affect anything? I would say for me, like Resident Evil 3 Remake, I think giving it an 8 out of 10 was solid. I think that's kind of where I sit with it. I'd probably knock it back to like a 7 or an 8. I'm kind of between a 7 or an 8 just because of what they cut out that I actually really enjoyed. Back then, obviously, when it was coming out and I was hyped for it, I still tried to go in with a positive mindset and overlook some things. But I think what me and John said in that definitive podcast review of it, that's in the playlist and everything like that, I still stand by it, So the good thing is I know what my opinion is even after the fact. But I would say 7 or an 8 out of 10. I would say I'm still maybe near 8 out of 10 because I actually liked it more than RE2 Remake. Not to say that RE2 Remake was really bad, but my problem with RE2 Remake was the zapping system and the story scenario swapped and fighting the same bosses, and the character interactions didn't really make sense because they kind of slapped in the zapping system, unlike in the original Resident Evil 2 when it was like really organized and it like made sense and everything connected to what was going on between Leon A and Claire B or Leon B and Claire A, like whatever one you decided to go with. In Remake, they kind of fucked that up. With Resident Evil 3, it was more easy to not fuck up in story wise, but they did cut out a lot of stuff, and I still, like I said in that podcast, I still prefer the original over the remake for those reasons that I mentioned. Also the fact that I think Resident Evil 3 and Nemesis work better in fixed camera angles. That's a big thing. So Shadow Man, fellow YouTube member, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well. Axel says, did you notice any performance differences playing on PlayStation versus Xbox when it comes to Resident Evil? As far as this past gen, Resident Evil Village would probably be like the most recent one I can compare it to. And I played it on PlayStation and Xbox, and they honestly look about the same and run about the same at this point. I don't have 120 frames per second TV. I have 120 hertz TV, but I don't have something that can go to 120 frames. But the Xbox looks fucking killer, man. I mean, I play a lot of stuff on there, and Halo looks killer on there. But I don't know. I mean, Resident Evil 3 Remake looked way better on fucking Xbox One compared to PS4, because the PS4 and Xbox One generations were shitty in regards to graphics until Xbox came out with the One X, and that was the better version to play Resident Evil 3 on. So for that, I can say Xbox was better in that regard. Now it's just like about the same until, you know, we see something happen with the performance differences between models. But Jeff Grunn says, Die Hard Arcade is my favorite arcade game. I put some serious hours into that in my local bowling alley as a kid. That's awesome, man. Those are great memories to hear about. Rambo says they have to put PS3 games onto the PS4 store. Is there a PS3 section, or do you search via title? They need Dead Space 1 and 2 on the store. Yeah, they do, man. They really do need Dead Space. Those games I'm thinking about replaying really soon, considering the remake's coming out. I played one on the channel, but I like to play 2 and 3. It's because I never done it. I have to see, because now for searching for them, because people saw Dead or Alive 5, they saw, I don't know if it's in a certain section yet, because it just kind of started to appear. You can look up, if you look up an article, you can just type in like PS3 games backwards compatible, and it'll probably come right up on Google. I just saw it last night because Perry sent it to me, my buddy Perry. And Perry said, yo, it's happening. Like, we're finally getting some backwards compatible stuff. And I was like, all right, that's what we need. Because they've neglected it. And honestly, the shitty thing, and I was just talking to John about this on the phone earlier, it's just like, everyone that bought stuff on PS3, you should still own that, right? Like on Xbox, like if I bought something in 2006, 2007, I still can download it on my new Xbox today. You know, I bought like an episode of like Aqua Teen Hunger Force in 2007 with like 80 Microsoft points, because you could do that back in the day, and it's literally still there. I didn't even know I could still have access to it. I just like an ecosystem that is like friendly, and that also makes the customer feel like their purchase was valuable. Like it continues on. I think that's a really big thing, right? Because you invest in a product, and now all of a sudden you can't play it on the newer machines, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, that is really fucking weird. I don't like that, you know? So I think that them giving everyone the middle finger to like all the PS1 games you bought, all the PS3 games you bought, that's a damn shame. Because with Xbox, I have access to all that stuff. So when it comes to console versus console, Xbox is taking the crown right now as far as backwards compatibility. Now, I know, PlayStation has this streaming service that's rumored, Spartacus, that is going to compete with Game Pass. Not streaming service, but game service, I should say. It's so easy to say streaming service now because everything's a streaming. But, right. So a gaming service like Game Pass. And so are you going to have PS3 games on there, PS1, PS2? Are you going to increase the library? Are you going to let people buy the games as well? Because, with the Xbox, you can get a lot of backwards compatible stuff through Game Pass, or you can just buy it. Or if I own the disc right over there on the shelf for Xbox, I can just take it off the shelf, pop it in my new Xbox, and it installs, which is awesome. I know a lot of people don't like collecting physical games anymore, but for the Xbox benefit, it benefits you to have some of those copies. If you want to upgrade to digital, fine. Some people don't want to get up and put the disc in and just want to beam it right up there. That's fine too, but I like to have an option. I like to have the choice. Unorthodox says PlayStation should have done backwards compatibility eons ago, but I'm happy they're finally going to play. Yeah, man, hopefully they do. You already know the original trilogy binge is happening. Yeah, man. What's up, Jin? Welcome, Nutty. Zero says, Operation Raccoon City, I was about to platinum, but there's a glitch for the trophy where you must win 98 online games. Damn. Yeah, all the 360 stuff I got years ago, which I'm happy I did, because that's back when it was like popular. Am I a DA for paying dumbass for paying 15 or 115 for a PS2 just to play OG? Or actually, 115 for PS2 isn't bad. PS2 value is only going up. So RWK 88 to answer that question, hell no. You got a PS1 and PS2 right at the palm of your hands, and if you want to collect physical stuff, what's wrong with that? And of course, like, even if backwards compatible stuff, yes, like you might think, well, shit, if Resident Evil Trilogy, like the originals, I can buy them on the PlayStation 5 eventually, did I waste my money? Not really. I mean, just having a PS2, in my opinion, is worth it. Just because, like, you can hack that thing and you can actually just play a bunch of games. Like, there's ways that you can manipulate these machines nowadays that, like, I do it all the time with my machines. I'm not like, a person that's like, I can't talk about that. Like, anything can be jailbroken or hacked nowadays. And so if you have those old machines, you can obviously pay for what you want to pay for, right? Get the physical copies that you want, get the Resident Evils, get the Silent Hills, get the, but they're really expensive. And sometimes you want to save money. Everyone likes to save money. I like to save money. I'm a cheap SOB, right? But I also, not only do I like download stuff and then I'll end up actually buying it if I'm a fan of it. I don't think there's something wrong with trying before you buy. Horror fan says, "What's up, man? Hope you're good. Got off because I got COVID, so just trying to get better." Well, horror fan, hope you are well, man. Hope it's okay for you, and it's out of your system in a couple days, man. So yeah, best of luck, man. Rambo says, "I have a feeling RE4 will be their last remake. I do doubt that they would ever do Zero or Code Veronica." Yeah, or Resident Evil 5. That could never be really remade. I mean, could it actually be remade today? I don't know. And that goes to your point of RE4 being remade. It's like, how are they going to do it in a way where it's not, so offensive to everybody nowadays, People like us in the chat, we're just like, we're just playing a Resident Evil game. We know how to separate. It's just Resident Evil. Even with Resident Evil 5, I like Resident Evil 5, and I still play Resident Evil 5, and it's just Resident Evil. It's just a Resident Evil game, And here's my cat just like coming up out of nowhere. Taking the cat nap on my keyboard here. No. Come on. But Space Burrito is in the chat. You guys are coming in fast with the chat. I appreciate that. I'm still trying to catch up. Space Burrito's in the house. Horror fan says, "Dig that Vinegar Syndrome beanie. What did you pick up from their recent sale?" I didn't get anything from the recent sale. There wasn't that much that I was like, interested in. I did pick up I Spit on Your Grave and from Ronin and Deep Red from Arrow. I got the Deep Red 4K, so I'm really excited to check them out. Did you hear about RE9 going to take more supernatural approach with Rose seeing invisible enemies and being hunted by the Wendigo, inspired by Native American folklore? That's not really Resident Evil. Like, it's not Resident Evil. What the fuck, Dude, I remember when they announced they would shut down PS Store on PS3. I bought like 20 PS2 and PS1 games. Yeah, and they still have it up because people complained and they kept it up. And you can still buy however many PS1 or PS2 games right now. If you have a legit PS3, you could technically go on there with your PSN account and buy those games. But, I should be able to buy those games, and then when they make it available on PS5, I can have access to it. What's so hard about that? It's my same email. It's my same account, Zero says RE4 is what got him hooked to the series. If that's the case, RE9 won't be Arya anymore, and that's sad. Yeah, exactly. That would just feel like RE7 feels more like Resident Evil than what you just mentioned, about Rose and all that shit. Jeff Grunt says those PS3 games on PS5 are unfortunately not what everyone thinks. The prices attached to those games are old digital rental fees from a very early version of PS Now. Interesting. Okay. That's good to know. Well, you know what? Even besides that, like if this article didn't come out and people were talking about it, I really hope that they come out with that game service soon. That's, rumored or named Spartacus, and they come out and just like make those games available, man. Just make them available. That's it. Lucius says, regarding RE8, what disappointed you the most? Probably the story and characters and what they did with Chris Redfield. As a game, it was decent, but RE7 was even better than Resident Evil Village. I could say that now. Dyer says, "What's up, man? Discovered your channel a few months back, and I've been binging a lot of your podcast and tuning into your live streams. And while I'm listening, though, I'm driving, so I can't actually partake in the chat, but love what you do. Thank you, man. Hey, no problem, man. I know a lot of people that listen to the show and watch or just listen while they're driving or commuting or getting through work days. It's all good. I'm all for it, and I appreciate that. An Arya 9 leak video just appeared on my YouTube feed. Know anything about this? Well, I guess I'm gonna have to, right? If it's a news break, then I guess I gotta get busy on it, right? Let me see here. I'll look it up here. Nobody has a problem with 4. Exactly, Jackie Boy. Detective Butler's in the house. Says Code Veronica was the only game that made sense of a remake. Them doing 4, that's what I'm saying, man. Cash grab, right? It's just for money at the end of the day. What's up, Juan Perez Tattoo? Elusive King Shadow. What's up, guys? But yeah, like it's. I just think, it's very strange. Like it's just very weird that they didn't go with Code Veronica. Jeff Grunt says, I still own all my old consoles and games. No need for backwards compatibility that way. I never traded in or sold any of that stuff after seeing recent prices of some of the games. Exactly, man. And for people that want to make money and do what they got to do, that's fine. But people like us that like to hold on to that stuff, that's fine. I think for people that don't want to spend the money and people that like me and you that like, we held on to it since we got it for face value. But imagine going into it now, having nothing, and you're just like, I gotta pay what for the Resident Evil trilogy? I gotta pay $300? Yeah, well that's exactly what it's gonna do. Could Capcom remake RE5 as the game they originally planned? Maybe Solid Redfield. That's possible. Danger Dylan's in here. Jay says he's ready for RE10. Stevie Max says until Dawn already did a Wendigo horror game. That's true. Wendigo. I said Wendigo. Yeah, Wendigo, the Wendigo, right? Wendigo. Yeah, that's the big like Until Dawn thing. That was like that game, right? And then they had the killer. Hawkins in here. What's up, man? You guys are chatting it up. I appreciate that. Good chat participation today. Nutty says, I got a PS5 last year for Village, but honestly, Microsoft done such a good job with the Series X. I sold my PS5 to get one. Probably should have waited, though, because Series X's is impossible to find. Yeah, they really are. Both are. They're just hard to find, We live in the age of the bots and online, and these consoles still aren't available on shelves to walk in and buy. So I'm like the Wendigo Ghost Town rumors. But for Rose Powers, Quentin says, not a fan of what they did to Chris. Me neither. I need all my retro games in my PS5. Yeah, man, that'd be nice, right? And you don't got to pay that much money either for the digital stuff. Why not do RE9 with Billy and bring him back? Make it a revenge story. Bring it back to its roots. Horror fan, that would be better than probably what they would come up with, right? Rambo says, top 3 worst PS1 games. I know not Resident Evil related, but figured I would ask. Hey, Rambo, that's fine, man. It's all good. It's all video game realm, so it's fine. PS1 being my favorite console, I can tell you that probably one of the worst games that I know that is on there is ODT. It's Or Die Trying. That game, I remember just playing it as a kid, even being younger, and I was like, what the fuck is this? This is really bad. So that would be one of them. I would probably say another one would be like Mary-Kate and Ashley's like Winter Circle. Me and my buddy bought that as a joke just to like do a parody video on it, and it was like really bad. There was like 3 Mary-Kate and Ashley games for that fucking thing. And I'm trying to think of something else. There's a lot of bad games. ODT I legitimately thought was going to be good. It's like with Mary-Kate and Ashley, I kind of knew what to expect. Like I wasn't expecting, it was just for a joke. I wasn't like expecting, Siphon Filter or Resident Evil or Silent Hill. Trying to think other worst PS1 games, like really bad PS1 games. Oh man. Trying to think really bad PS1 games. Honestly, I was never, I think like a lot of the I don't know, because I want to say I'm trying to think of like worst games. Like I'm looking over at like my collection. like trying to glance and be like, all right, let me see if I can try to pull some off of my list here. ODT though is probably the worst. I'd have to get back with you on a full list, but ODT just always stuck with me as just being so bad. So bad. Antlers is about Wendigos. I didn't see Antlers yet. Anthony, will you buy the Raccoon City 4K and give it another chance? Or just forget it ever existed? I will be getting the Steelbook for the collection. I do collect Steelbooks. I think the Steelbook does look good, even if the movie's shit. But I will be reviewing it again. I have a digital copy right here I'm looking at on my desktop. And I will be doing a certain kind of video. And it will be a second look at Welcome to Raccoon City. And I'll talk about, my feelings, and I'm going to be writing a script and everything like that. So it's going to be cool. It's going to be a different video. It's going to be fun. Hopefully I don't get copyright striked or fucking, demonetized, because I need it to be monetized here. So any contributions help. I appreciate, the support. Me doing this, pushing on full-time content, all the support is appreciated. Jin with the 20 tries says, bless up and have a good day, everyone. Thank you, Jin. Thanks for always being there, man. Dangerilla said, what if they made a new game like Eternal Darkness where you travel through time and fight monsters? I wouldn't be opposed to that. I liked Eternal Darkness. Rebel says, I wonder if they would do a Resident Evil game a la Until Dawn House of Ashes interactive movie approach. That would always be interesting. And even for like a spin-off, even if it wasn't like a main game, that I always think that would be interesting, especially if you really pair it up with good characters and a really compelling story for Resident Evil. If the next two Resident Evil games are bad, are you done with the games? I don't think I'll ever be done with the games, but I think I might lose more faith into what Capcom puts out, and I would probably only look forward to the remakes, because that would be the only thing that would be worth a damn, But I'm still going to cover them and talk about them and play them and express my opinion. I would never silence myself, of how I feel about Resident Evil, even if I'm very passionate or if I lose fans, or, maybe I would have grown the channel if I felt this way about a game or that way, or maybe I would, I never think about that. I kind of just try to be honest and obviously play through it a bunch of times and just try to have fun with it. Evil Dead does have a new game coming out. I do want to play that. That seems like cheesy fun. Juan says, wish Condemned would come back. Great games. Resident Evil needs to go back to the roots. I agree. And Condemned was a good game. I remember that was the launch game for 360. That's great. Dude vs. Evil is right. If you guys are enjoying this, though, if you're enjoying the chat and just like shooting the shit, hit that thumbs up, hit the like button. That really helps the algorithm a lot and helps me out a lot. So yes, thank you, Dude vs. Evil. Thanks for reminding the lovely chat. Mary Kate and Ashley playthrough coming soon. Real horror. Yeah, it's actually really bad. Like, really bad. Fifth Element is a bad PS1 game. I've never played that, actually, but that sounds really bad. It's not an exclusive, but one of the Tomb Raider Revelations or Chronicles, that's a really bad game. I think it's called Chronicles. It came out when the movie came out, and it came out on PS1 in like 2001. That's a really bad game. Really bad game. That's a yikes. Nutty says, in my opinion, the issue with Chris in RE8 is they couldn't commit. The idea of him being a villain for Village was interesting if they had fully committed to it, or if yeah, that was kind of like a cop-out. And to be honest with you, I just think they just did Chris dirty, and he's one of my favorite characters. So for me, that was the most offensive thing that they've done in that. Unless I can get over the Lisa Trevor stuff, not sure if I'll ever call Welcome to Raccoon City good. Yeah, the Lisa Trevor stuff was ridiculous and made no sense in the movie. Oh, nice. You writing a Resident Evil movie script? No, I'm not. Not yet. But no, I'm writing a script for a review. Because if I do a review, I would essentially go through the movie, section by section or, clip by clip that I think's worth mentioning, and kind of review it in a way where I have jokes and I have, me on camera, and it cuts to either clips of the movie, if I can do that, or just screenshots of the movie. I haven't decided yet. Where can you get the steelbook for the movie? Amazon.com. It'll be on there. Do you think you'll ever get the Quest 2 in order to play Resident Evil 4 VR? I probably, should have done that when it came out in October, but, the last half of 2021 was, obviously very hit and miss as far as doing that kind of thing, because everything with John and us, like, I had to kind of keep the channel going and stuff like that. And the timing was kind of wrong. I also didn't want to support it because it's censored in a sense. RE4 is kind of censored now on the VR, and I hate that shit so much. But who knows? If I have a good month in donations, it's one thing when you're doing this as your job, and you have to take money out of that to get the VR, which I could do. I just have to do very well. I have to have a really good push and really good month on Patreon, whatever the case may be, because that's how I would be able to afford it. I can't, unfortunately, I don't have the hookup. I don't have the connect to just talk to someone through Facebook and be like, hey, hook me up with the Oculus so I can review it. That would be the goal. I want to get free shit. I still have never done that. I've never been able to get free shit. So maybe one day, who fucking knows? But, I'm a cheap bastard. What was your experience and reaction to the kitchen demo Resident Evil 7 reveal? The series revival with that, I thought that was great. I actually was streaming and doing content back then. Next month I'll be on YouTube on this channel for 12 years, which is crazy, and that's why I said it like that, because I'm like, what the fuck? But that's the way it rolls, right? Time goes by like that. But back when it came out, I was covering it, and it was fun. It was the most success I ever had at the channel at the time, because so many people were coming into the chat, and they wanted to know, why, what the finger does, the dummy finger, and all that stuff, right? It was a very cool interactive process, because each demo update made you think. And then I would get into the stream, and there would be like 200 people, 300 people, 400 people, and I was like, what? And that never happened to me up until that point. I was still just on the channel. Like, I didn't partner with John yet or anything back then. It was just like, me and then Richard coming on for a couple shows here and there at that time. Like, during that time was right when it was just me kind of doing it. But my experience with that was a lot better than Village, where Village, it just kind of felt like, all right, put this demo out. Yeah, it's Maiden. Like, it's just like its own prequel demo, kind of like RE7, but it didn't have the same effect, and it didn't have like the fans really get into it. And even myself, where I kind of felt a little let down by RE7. I still liked it, but back then, with that demo, that was a big deal. So let's see here. Arya died after Raccoon City Saga and Code Veronica. Chris Kennedy. A lot of people feel that way. Dangerous says, I'm going to make the lame joke and say real survival horror would be if you played Ride to Hell. Ride to Hell would be very bad. That would be very bad. Chris Redfield's response, no, damn it. Yeah. And I actually am one for few who really dig Doug Raccoon City, so it'd be a higher budget sequel, but it won't happen. Hey, man, yeah, to each their own. Like, if you like the movie, that's why I like this community, because we can agree to disagree. It's all good. Wiz2600, what's good? What's up, man? There's a guy who worked in the Who his name is Redfield. Uh-oh, it's connected. Creepy, if you ask me. Do you still have folks asking you to play Superman 64? Yes. I believe his name's Andrew. He still asks for Superman 64. We did play it, though, this past April Fool's Day. We actually streamed Superman 64 on Let's Talk Resident Evil. Yes. It was funny. So yeah, we actually did, because John Lemley donated, and he donated a bunch of money. So we did do it for him. You need to revisit Dead Aim. Always possible. Ty says, what's up, guys? What's up, man? Rambo says, random question. How come in Resident Evil 2 Remake you end the game with one version of a rocket launcher, and then yet in the unlimited ammo version, it's a different one that was never used in the game. Yeah, I don't know. I think I know what you're talking about. Like, there's two different ones. Um, it's very strange. Like, what? Like the unlimited ammo one is like they made it like, I guess, the grenade launcher, I guess, or it's like a different. It's like a different. I don't know if they did that for like balance or whatever. Because usually the unlockables are pretty, like, pretty standard. Um, Yeah, but usually they do it the same. I know they did it differently for 2 remake, but yeah, it's very weird. It's definitely gone. I think it's unlisted. It might be up for Patreon, but I don't know if I even have it public, just because I didn't want it fucking with the algorithm and stuff, because that's how YouTube works. They see Superman 64 and it's just like, all right. So I think we took it down once it was done. Um, it was bad. I mean, I couldn't fucking play it. Like, being able to, we made it through like a few missions. I want to say maybe 4 missions or something like that. It was very fun though. It was entertaining, but it was definitely painful. It was entertaining yet painful, if that makes sense. Uh, yeah, new channel name. Let's talk Superman 64. Um, yeah, not a lot of great survival horror games out nowadays. Danger Dylan, few and far between. What content teases can you give us that you're working on? Says Lewis Sellers. Well, content that I'm working on, I would say, um, so I am working on a Resident Evil 4 Memories video that's going to be coming out. It's coming out on Wednesday, so 2 days from now. I have a calendar with all my stuff on it, so that's how I keep track. A physical calendar, because that's how I got to do it. So I'm working on that. I'm also working on another episode of the podcast. I'm going to be shooting that very soon. We're going to be doing a show with Nuge from over in the UK, Resident Evil Challenger. We're going to be talking to the man himself. I'm very excited about that show. It's about, man, maybe 2 years in the making, right? Because not in the making, but in the planning, because they came back in 2020 and they started to do streams right around when we were doing the Legacy series. And ever since then, we had conversations with Nuge and I was trying to just, get the interview done, like get it actually locked in. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And, I am potentially, well, my cat is just like, my cat is ridiculous. My cat will just chill up here, just like all laid out like a lazy fuck that he is. I will actually be, the plan right now is to get stuff situated, and I will be heading to the UK for their meetup in June. So that's a little like tease drop thing that I haven't said anything officially yet. But if you're watching this far in, or you're watching this in the archive, yeah, it's going to be happening. LTRE is going to take over the UK. And if anyone that's listening that's in the UK, I know I have fans in the UK. A lot of fans that watch this. It's going to be cool. It's going to be a fan meetup. And even though it is, obviously, it's their fan meetup, right? It's Resident Evil Challenger. It's going to be their fan meetup. But maybe we could do something where I can also have, some of you guys come out too, and it'll be really cool. So yeah, so that's going to be very fun. So that's like some stuff that like is in the works. But that kind of goes in line with content. So another episode of the Let's Talk Resident Evil podcast with him, and I'll be able to interview him and kind of talk to him. Big fan here from the UK. Yeah, so there you go. We already got a couple of people here. Well, guess what? You go to Resident Evil Challenger. He's doing a on his Discord, social media, and all that stuff. He's doing a meetup, a fan meetup, and the details are still kind of being worked out, obviously. But yes, I know June is the month that they're aiming for, and I will be there and stuff like that. So obviously I'm going to talk to Nuge and talk about details and stuff like that, because this is his gig that he's, booking and he's doing with his people and his crew over there, and they're all great. And I've never been to the UK, and I always want to see the UK, so it'd be really cool to have someone that I can, trust and meet up with over there. And it's kind of crazy, right? Because, that's kind of like back in the early days of, YouTube. Those videos are very important, and they were around before they were even doing YouTube videos. Like, they would do YouTube videos and they would archive their, or upload the stream when it was done, because they would record it. But they were live streaming before people were even live streaming. So, yeah, Lewis and Nutty. Hopefully, we get a chance to fucking, hang out and see each other eventually. And I would love to see the UK. So, yeah, have you watched Midnight Mass on Netflix? If you have not, what did you think? I actually haven't, but I've heard amazing things. Danger Dylan, the Dead Pit boys over at Dead Pit, they were putting that over last night. I think they were doing their year in review show where they were talking about things over at like everything that came out this year and horror, and they talked about that, and I was like, holy shit! Like, I heard about it, but me being me, I take my time with when I decide to watch something, and I sometimes take forever, sometimes take a little too long, but I want to check that out, man. So I'll get back to you and let you know. Can we all figure out a way to Capcom just do a remaster like they did the first Resident Evil? I'd be cool with that. Yeah, I don't know, man. They seem to just keep it going with the fucking... Nutty says Zeus Woos. All right, yeah, you are Zeus Woos. I was going to say, you changed your thing, right? You were Zeus Woos. I recognize your profile picture. Do you think, how do you think RE7 has grown on you? Also, I live in the UK. Awesome, Optimal Gaming. And did the no Russian campaign mission bother you at all? Did the no Russian mission? Not really. I mean, that didn't really bother me. I know, you could like turn it off or turn off the offensive content or whatever. It never bothered me. You know what I mean? It's a video game. Just like how movies are movies, it's art. It doesn't really bother me at all. Sure, there's stuff that's unnecessary, but it's not like that game was just filled with a bunch of no Russian, missions. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my opinion on that. Let's see here. Rambo says, I know you weren't a big fan of Outlast since there was no weapons to defend yourself. What about Alien Isolation, and what are your thoughts on Doom 3? So I actually liked Doom 3, and I liked Alien Isolation, believe it or not. Outlast, it's not like I hated it. I just thought it was kind of more boring. I think with Alien Isolation, I really liked it because it was in the Alien universe, and there was that layer of fear with the alien coming out and killing you immediately. There's something scary about that. Just hearing it crawl around in the vents and run after you, and then you look down and the tail is through your chest and you're already dead. Joe Pergola with the 99-cent super chat with the turd emoji. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. Thank you. But yeah, so that is I think the overall that there's a difference between like how they're trying to do first person horror now with what they're doing before, because with Resident Evil 7, the big thing, the reason why that was in first person was because of VR. Sony came to them, and Capcom was trying to revive themselves as a company financially, and they essentially said, yo, we're going to cut you a check, make this game, first person VR, and it's going to be ours. You can only get it on PlayStation VR, make it a deal. And they were like, okay. And, that's for better or for worse, right? Some people think it should have been a spinoff. I wasn't too crazy about it, and I am going to do a video talking about RE7 now and how I feel about it now, because I did play it in the Legacy series more recently, and I even said during that, it's not as bad as I, first played through it. But, Lewis says, by the way, my fiance and I have been watching a really creepy show on Netflix. Archive 81. Heard of it? Ratings are extremely strong. I haven't. Archive 81. Okay, it looks like I'm gonna have to add that on there with Midnight Mass. Joe coming in hot with another 99-cent super chat. Appreciate that, man. Zeus says, I live in Ireland, but if there was some type of meetup, I'd love to pop over to the UK. Only an hour flight. Yeah, that's not bad, man. Yeah, no, that would be really cool. Again, it would be really cool to see what I can do and what we can do. Like I said, Nuge has the advantage because he lives there and he knows, he's able to kind of get in contact with venue people and do all that stuff. So again, I'm gonna try to figure it out. I will be going to the UK in June regardless. So I don't give a fuck. I am traveling. I am seeing the world. I'm seeing places. No one or no thing can stop me. And Rambo says, I know you enjoyed the new Doom games. What are your thoughts on Doom 3? Doom 3 was creepy, very isolating. Some people prefer that kind of Doom versus what the new Doom is doing, where it's like faster pace and stuff like that. But I really like Doom 3. I kind of like them all. I like each kind of style. I know Doom 3 was more kind of like stripped down, but playing that on the Xbox, that was kind of freaky, man. That was kind of creepy because it was very dark. It was a very dark game, and I played the BFG edition. I think I have them all on Xbox, or the Doom Slayer collection. It comes with the Dooms, all of the games and stuff like that. But yeah, it'll be really cool to check it out. And play it again, because that's a game that, like, I think I still have the disc. Yeah, I still have it right up there, my OG copy, and I think it's backwards compatible, and also you can, not even backwards compatible, but you can play the BFG edition. So I gotta, like, go in and just play the HD edition, where it probably looks very nice for the, HD definition now. Joe, with the other 99-cent super chat, with the cat, he has the shit, the popcorn, and the cat. Thank you, man. Let's see. Oh, it's a James Wan series. Okay, well, I'll check it out. Edward Hendricks says RE7 was already halfway through development and in the first person before they started working on the VR component. RE7 is already halfway through development and it's for. Was it really though? Like I don't think so. I don't know if there's like proof of that. As far as like, but I remember reading when that came out, like that was the deal. The deal was to just make a first person game. I don't think they were going with first person anyway. I think it was strictly because of Sony cutting the check. Because if you're Capcom in that position and you're financially hurting, what else would you do? Peggy says, "Wow, I'm going to Europe in June too, but it's to France for a wedding." Hey, I mean that's awesome though. Yeah, I mean you got to travel, sometimes, and for the weddings and for the people you care about and stuff like that, and or for a fan meetup. So yeah, that's really cool. Are you gonna record or stream any of the event? Yeah, I'm sure there'll be something. I'm sure Nuge and myself, being the film makers and the film geeks that we are, and we like to record all that kind of shit. So I'm sure he's going to be recording something because it's probably the first I think it's the first like actual meetup they've done. If I'm understanding it correctly, because obviously, with the past couple of years, it's been hard to do a meetup, and they've only come back in the last couple of years. So hopefully by this summer we'll be okay and ready to go. And here's a James. I got all the cats coming here now. Look at this. What, James? What are you doing? What are you doing? But check out Horror Fan says check out Kario 2001 Japanese movie, the scariest movie I've ever seen. Born to be Rad, what is up? Garrett is in the house. What is up, man? Thank you for coming in to say what's up. We got Rambo Fan in here too. We got a couple people from the good old Dead Pit fan base and fellow content creators. That's awesome, man. Thank you for coming in here. I really enjoyed the year in review. I was actually just talking about you guys in Dead Pit because we were talking about the Midnight Mass, and I got to watch it. And I was saying that you guys were putting that over on the stream, so I got to check that out. A lot of stuff I didn't watch in 2021 as well because I'm just always late to the game, and my cat just likes to show off here. But yeah, I'm always late in the game with some of that stuff, so I'm gonna have to go back and check it out. But yeah, go check out Born to Be Rad's channel, guys. If you like any kind of retro reviews, current reviews, Blu-ray updates, all that good stuff. I know someone mentioned it, but I keep seeing the Vinegar Syndrome hat. Where's your top 3 releases from them? I would say top 3 releases that I own, because that's the main thing, is like top 3 releases that I own. That's a good question. I would say let me actually get these. All these cats are just, they're hearing shit upstairs and they're like, what is happening? Come on, Jesse. Come on. Look at that. Say goodbye to Kitty. Look at this kitty. Yep. Say goodbye. Gotta go off the desk now. I'm like trying to like have a conversation. These cats are just like getting all up in my face. What's up, Nemesis? But what was I even talking about? The movies, right? Yeah. The movies. And Vinegar Syndrome. So Vinegar Syndrome, there's a lot of releases that I think are probably like really good releases that I probably didn't even get my hands on, because I'm still trying to kind of build my collection. But I love the Beastmaster. That's like probably one of my favorites that they came out with. Like I have the, I got the box and everything. I got the big ass box here. Yeah, I got the Beastmaster box. This guy. And I work the convention, so I'm able to actually go to the table and check them out. So this kind of helps because, yeah. And then Savage Dawn. The VSUs are awesome. So that's Savage Dawn. Those are a couple of my favorites, just to name a few. I do have some others over there, but Vinegar Syndrome is great. But I do agree with Dead Pit and everyone over there as well, where like this year was kind of like they did have some good releases, but I'm not like some people are hardcore Vinegar Syndrome and they'll buy everything. So I'm kind of more selective, but Dead Pit is great. Yeah, I've been listening to them for a while. I support them on Patreon and stuff like that. People owe it a lot to those motherfuckers, let me tell you. So, because they were literally the first radio show, whatever you want to call it, radio show podcast. So you gotta do that. It was fun doing the Ernest Saves Christmas commentary with you. Oh yeah, you guys did do the Ernest Saves Christmas commentary. That was really fun to listen to. It was really cool to see you on there, Rambo. Hope you come on again. Yeah, there's a lot of Spookies. That's the other one. Spookies. That's the other one I have. I have Spookies. Now the Tix 4K I didn't get, so I don't have that. But Uncle Bill actually sent me Spookies. So shout out to Uncle Bill, because he got me the Spookies. He just sent it out. He had an extra copy, and I was on their Patreon stream, and he was just like, "Yeah, I got an extra copy if you want me to send it." And I was just like, "I mean, you don't have to do that." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I don't care." And I was like, "Shit." So really, really cool. Really cool to know cool people like that. And yeah, a lot of stuff that I still have to get from them. What I try to do is like I'll try to stock up or save up some money for some physical media that I want to have. And when I go to conventions, I try to get it through them because save money on shipping. I obviously check out the sales and stuff like that. But when I'm at the convention, I'm there. So like, I'm just like, all right, I'll just pick it up. Like I'll just pick up 2 or 3 movies. Usually if you pick up 3 movies, they're right around like, $60 or something like that. So, but yeah, so it's very, very interesting. Edward says the reaction people had to the kitchen demo was what made the lead to agree to the VR mode, even though it would make the harder for them to make the release date, which they did. Well, basically, Edward, it's basically what I said is still true, right? It's like they still did it mostly because of Sony. But yes, the reaction for the fans, absolutely. First Person Horror was in at the time. The Scare Cam reaction, PewDiePie, Markiplier, like those kind of people were reacting to the horror, right? And that's what was trending, that's what it was. And, that's fine. I mean, that was the era, right? So they were going to do it. But love Jack Frost. Jack Frost I have over there. That's another good one. Yeah, Uncle Bill's a really good guy. And CK, all of them are just great. And it's cool that we're kind of all in a similar horror community content creation circle together. You know what I mean? I'm very honestly, I don't want to blow smoke up anybody's ass, but I feel honored because you guys were doing this for years. Dead Pit, Rambo Raff, like people that I've watched, and it's cool that like it's still going on, even though like Dead Pit like took a break for a while and all that stuff. It's just cool to see some of the OGs around still, because not a lot of people are around. Not a lot of people hung out and hung in there. They gave up, or they got discouraged, or they dealt with copyright, like changes with Google, stuff beyond people's control. Absolutely. But I just like that I still got my OGs I watch, and content that's always good, like quality content. And even if it's under the radar for most people, because we're in like, niche categories sometimes. Like I'm in survival horror and Resident Evil. Some people think that horror kind of happens in a vacuum, but horror has just like a very dedicated fan base, and gaming too, gaming and horror and everything. So, it's just awesome. It's just great. So it's great to see everyone still doing their thing. Favorite Halloween movie? Mine is the first one. But I love Halloween 2. Halloween 2 is like right there. Halloween 1 and Halloween 2. Like that's if I were to do a tier list, I would say like Halloween 1, Halloween 2, like it would be top 2, like hands down. Halloween 2018, not even close. Like Halloween 2. And I like Halloween 2018 to a certain extent. But yes, Gowdy is here. Yes, Gowdy, I'll be seeing your ass in June with everyone else. So I'm looking forward. I was just talking to the chat about that. People were asking about upcoming content and plans, and I told them that was the plan. So yes, looking forward to doing the podcast with Nooch this month. That will be the second show for January, and then I'm also going to be working on the Resident Evil Extinction review, so that'll be fun. So I'm really looking forward to that. I got the new Phenomena Creepers 4K release pre-ordered. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's really cool. Yeah, I gotta try to get some of that stuff as well. I want to get the Kindred. I want to get the Kindred from S.T.A.R.S, because obviously Dead Pit has been putting it over. Don May Jr. is awesome. S.T.A.R.S actually really tries with their releases. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I want to pick that up. I know there's less than 1,000 copies, so you see the behind the scenes of Jeepers Creepers Reborn. I'm excited but skeptical as of now. Yeah, I would be, considering the guy that's making that fucking movie is still fucking the douchebag that fucking touched little kids. Like, is he still making those fucking movies? Like, what the fuck? That's fucked up, man. Like, that's why when 3 came out, I was like, what? This guy? Is he still making movies? I mean, like, they could make Jeepers Creepers and just take that guy off the project. Like, they don't got to keep hiring Victor Salva. Like, holy shit. Demons 1 and 2 are 4K. Yes, those are good. I have to get them, but again, there's a lot. Have you seen the new Scream movie, and what did you think? I actually saw the new Scream. I didn't think it was that bad. And I'm going to be doing a review over on my film channel, Inocula Productions. Inocula Productions is my film channel, and I'm going to be doing movie reviews and, all that stuff. That's my film channel. I do short films and all that stuff, and feature films. Obviously, slowly but surely, because films take a while to make. So Inocula is my channel that I've had since 2007. And it's me just doing, now I'm going to be doing Blu-ray updates and collection updates, kind of like how I do Resident Evil collection updates here. But, hit the mic. Kind of like I'm going to do Resident Evil Collection updates here, how I've always done them, but with Blu-ray collections and do kind of haul videos. Okay, so no, the studio has the rights, and they are soft rebooting the franchise, new direction. Okay, so as long as it's someone new, because I thought if that guy was, yeah, I know, Polanski's the same fucking way. As long as they fix that shit. Yeah, but with Scream, though, I actually did enjoy it. It's not my favorite, and I don't even know if I like it better than 4. I have to go back and watch 4. 4 was the last one directed by Wes Craven, but it wasn't the best written one either, so I really don't know what's going on. Looking forward to seeing you in June, my friend. Didn't know you were doing a podcast with Luke. Exciting. Love your content, man. Always try to tune in. Well done, brother. Thank you, man. Yeah, no, it's we kind of talked about it the other day. I just kind of messaged him, was like, yo, let's try to get this thing going. And because I was trying to do this for a year, basically. It wasn't anyone's. It was just like we got busy with content and Village, and just like one thing led to the other. So sometimes you got to figure out what you can do first and all that stuff. But yeah, I kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit on this stream. But, you guys want to know what's going on, what's coming up. And, I owe it to you guys just to kind of let you know, with this year that, everything's going to be consistent, content's going to be coming out, and we're going to be pressing on, just doing the best we can. Could there be RE4 VR in the near future? I don't know. Maybe. I know you guys want to see it, but like I said, it is fucking $300, so that is a mighty chunk of change just to drop on something. But, we'll see. Excited for Evil Dead Rise. So am I. Holy shit. Exploring with Nug, $20, says, I love Resident Evil. Thank you, man, for the $20 super chat. That means a lot. Thank you, guys. Any super chat or donation like that is really appreciated, man. So I really appreciate that. Like I said, that means a lot, because the super chats, they keep me going, literally. So thank you. Thank you, man. Code Star says the meetup will be a good time. Maybe some RE6 co-op when we're there. Please don't haunt Gowdy with the RE6, okay? Been through it enough. Oh man, that's funny as fuck. He says, "Can we ban Code Stars?" What can I say, right? It's just, let's see. 4 wasn't great, but Hayden is in it, so that's automatically bumps it up for a few plays. Oh yeah. I have seen your videos before. I have not seen your videos before. Oh, okay. I see what they're saying. Corey says he enjoyed it. It's almost like playing a new game. What's happening, hockey fan? What's going on, brother? We're going to be on here for a little bit longer. Like any, questions you have about content, video games, survival horror, Resident Evil, any super chats, donations is greatly appreciated. Thanks to Exploring with Nug, he's keeping us on here for a little bit longer now, so I appreciate that. But yeah, no, anything you want to shoot the shit about, just kind of hanging out. Horror Fan says, how would you make the perfect Resident Evil movie? Do you think if a fantastic movie was made, would fans still complain? Like if it can ever please the fans? It's never going to please everyone. I don't think you're ever going to please everyone. Believe me, horror fans are like that too. It's very hard to please, right? I would say it is possible for a perfect RE movie. It's not hard, but apparently it is to the studios, right? And the people that they put in charge of these fucking things. First thing you got to do is you got to cast characters that look like characters. That's the first thing you got to do. Leon has to look like Leon. Jill has to look like Jill. And they also have to act like the characters, right? That's number one. And I know you can't say that nowadays, but I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, that's number one. And number two is you make one movie each game at a time, because that's probably the best way to do it, right? So that's it. But yeah, what do you make of Revelations games? I quite enjoyed them, and raid mode in some of the most fun I've had in Arya in a long time. I actually liked Revelations. I like Revelations 2 maybe a little bit more than Rev 1. I don't know. I really don't know, but Banana says blink 3 times if the lizard people are making you do this. No, not. I was hoping for Leon versus Mr. X in Welcome to Raccoon City. Yeah, no, we didn't get that. The budget needs to be 100 million. It needs to be set in the mansion. I don't know. 100 million could still be fucking. It could still be you know. It could still be bad. So who cares? Let's see. Jackie Boy says Jesus. LOL. Unorthodox says being an underdog who can't save anyone at all. Yeah, I know. You signed up for the Capcom Creator Program. I wanted to, but my luck. But the bastard's limited to only U.S. only. I didn't even know if there is one. I'm part of the PR thing, but I don't know if there's like a creators program to my knowledge. You know, let me actually see. Capcom Creators Program. I'm pretty sure I'm in here. Is this new? Because I'll join this shit now. Because I want to make sure I'm good. Did you see that Residents of Evil weren't accepting into the Capcom Creator Program? Damn, really? Well, that's fucking weird. Revelation games are very underrated, says Nemesis. Yeah, I think they don't get enough talked about. I think a lot of the other spin-offs for some reason get some more love, but put maybe a week ago, all the art creators were signing, so maybe try and get in. Yeah, I mean, I guess I should try, right? I mean, I was like the first Resident Evil channel on this platform that was like a specific channel on here doing Let's Plays. So maybe I can get in, right? But they don't care about that. No one cares about that nowadays. No one cares who was here and how long you've been here. It's all about the fucking views and the whatever. So, you know, to Capcom anyway. I'm not saying to people. I'm just saying like how they look at creators. I don't know. But if they're turning down people like Ro, then that's very interesting. I have no fucking idea. Has there ever been a Resident Evil pinball machine? I don't know. But there should be. Maybe one day I'll get it. Has Leon ever had a scene or moment or fight against Wesker? No. Do you have a VR capable PC? You can use the Oculus 2 to play VR games in PC. R2. Oh, yeah. I mean, I do have a PC that could do it, so I am, you know, I am ready. I am ready to do it. Yeah, the worst that happen is they say no, right? That's it. That's the worst that can happen is they say no. So that's just the way it is, man. You gotta try to. I mean, you know, I've done the partner. I've done like the co-stream stuff with them before with Capcom, like, you know, like the stuff that you can apply for, and then you can get in. You know, so that like maybe they're gonna start doing that through this. Yeah, they even said thank yous for the overwhelming interest in our program so far. We received a lot of applications. This is what it says at the top before you even submit anything. So I'm submitting my stuff now, just so I have it, right? So, and then I'll type this out. They only want, okay. I'll type this out once I'm done. They want a little explanation as to what kind of content that I'm doing and, you know, stuff like that. So we'll see. You know, who knows? Maybe they don't want someone fucking who just speaks their mind on stuff. Who knows? Hopefully that's the case. They weren't very controlling with the whole Resident Evil co-stream stuff that we did, so it wasn't too bad. They just wanted you to bring up certain points, but we weren't not bashing it, you know what I mean? And also they weren't you have to act like the game's amazing. You have to act no, we reacted just the way we thought. We were looking forward to Village generally when it was coming out. That's just, it looked really good. What we got, not so much, right? But when we did that, people called us, oh, you're playing Capcom's favor. No, we were being honest, because even on videos that we weren't partnered with Capcom on, or live streams, I should say, because it was only for that live stream Resident Evil event. And then when it comes out and we say how we feel, people hate it, and it's damn. RWK says it is not crazy how Ari has such a good base for an awesome story games and movies, and it's fucking gets whack and sidetracked so easily. Capcom wants it to be a lot more than it is. Yeah, I mean, they just have to understand that certain things work and certain things don't work. Don't keep doing it over and over again. Are you a fan of Albert Pyon's films Cyborg, Nemesis, Sword, and the Sorcerer? No, I never watched those. I never really got into them. But yeah, thank you guys for telling me to go for it and fucking do it. So usually find with these types of programs, they just want yes men that have nothing negative to say. That's what I'm saying. So that's why it's one of those things where if I don't even get into this, obviously thank you guys for letting me know. But if I don't get into this, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And hopefully I can still do co-streams with them, because I think anyone can really do that. I think you don't have to be in the partner program for that, because that didn't exist back when they did that, but maybe now they would. This says they like content creators, artists, and cosplayers of all sizes. Feel free to share any links to your work below and tell us a bit about the content you create. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, there's fuckers that are content creators that aren't getting in on this, but there's cosplayers and artists that are. So what the fuck? I don't understand that at all. Why would they accept one over the other? Very fucking weird. Yeah, horror fan, I don't like to talk about that motherfucker because he's toxic as hell, but I don't know. I think he's just a character, and I think he tells people that he gets in contact with all these PR people, and he tells them, hey, this is what I'm doing. I guess it's a joke, it's a meme, and I guess they go for it. But I don't understand how you can get away with people telling people not to buy the game. I think that's very just weird, and I personally don't think his content's very good. And he's toxic. He was toxic. He was toxic back then. He's toxic now, and he's just some I don't even know. I don't even know what kind of content you would actually call that. But, I'm not going to give him any free credit or free press, so that's all I'll say about that fucking waste of space. But exactly, Rambo. There you go. Cool, I'm just going to burn some spaghetti, roll around in it, and submit my application as a cosplayer of Ouroboros. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's Ouroboros. Jackie Boy, you also asked a little bit earlier. I didn't want to ignore your question. I was getting in a lot of stuff earlier. You asked about, did I see what happened with G4? I did. And to be honest with you, sometimes you just lose respect for programs and networks. And G4 is not what it was. So, that's all I'll say about that. It's a shame. It's a shame. That's all I'll say. Yeah, exactly. Just forget that, that other dude that we're talking about. Yeah, forget that he exists too. Toxic Avenger is coming out in 4K. Yes, I will be picking that up. I don't think I own it. I know Lloyd was selling the Blu-rays at Monster Mania the one time. They always have it at the trauma table. So yeah, I'm gonna try to apply for that. Let me see if there's anything on this Resident Evil 9 shit. No, there's nothing on it right now. It's crazy how Arya has such a good fan base, awesome story, and games and movies is fucking weak. I already read that RWK. Revelations 3. Yeah, nothing. So I don't see any like articles or anything on 9 that's like recent. But it's interesting because I hope that they I just hope that they do this DLC like like how they want it to. And if it's bad, it's bad. Got any favorite horror-based TV series? Need something new to watch? Bates Motel was great. I heard that was great. I never like finished it or anything. Horror series. I really don't know. I heard Chucky was decent. I was gonna say Chucky, but if you saw that, I didn't see it all. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of horror like series. I'm mostly more of a. I do watch shows, but I'm trying to think of like one of the last like horror shows that I watched. Man, it's been a long, long time. Oh, no problem, RWK. You're good, man. Um, Stranger Things isn't horror, but I like Stranger Things. I do think that series is good. I know it's overrated in terms of the fan base, acting like it's the best thing ever, but Rambo says Resident Evil 10, time travel. Leon goes back to the mansion in Resident Evil 1 after getting into the DeLorean. Yes, and he fights Wesker. He finally fights Wesker after he gets out of DeLorean. Like, Wesker! And when Leon's all old, Wesker, we gotta take you back. Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, I guess. American Horror Story, I didn't get into. Yeah, Chucky, I gotta watch. Yeah, that's the problem with me is like even with 2021, as far as like any kind of horror shows or movies, there's a lot that I'm like films that I just kind of missed out on. Yeah, and there's a lot, Gowdy, that honestly like I probably just don't like. Like Hannibal, I never watched, right? But I love that universe. So there's like a lot that I just don't have like a knowledge of saying, hey, check this out, or recommendations or anything like that, because it's very like there's a lot that I still have to check out and watch. Why is having a musical score a thing of the past now for series? I don't know. I guess it just depends on who's involved, right? I mean, some studios prioritize that over the others, so or think it's effective or not, or in the editing process. Tales from the Crypt, just watched that. Great show. Well, that's great. Yeah, I've seen older episodes of that too. You'll never find a better horror series than Infinite Darkness. That's so funny. It might not be horror, but True Detective Season 1 was great. Yeah, I've heard Season 1 of that was really good. Unless you think of it as a horror in a Seven style. Right, yeah, with that like detectives like following a killer and stuff like that. Yeah, really cool stuff, That's the kind of stuff I don't mind watching. I watched Mayor of Easttown too, and that was really good. That was kind of like that. It was like a darker HBO short series, like 6 episodes, very fast, gets in, gets out, but really good. Hard Force says, Ant, literally you're the best RE content channel. honestly is the thing we need when it comes to delivering real feedback and opinions. Keep it going no matter what. Thank you, Hard4. Yeah, man. I'm gonna do my best, even if Capcom accepts me or not. It doesn't really matter. We already got dicked over back when RE3 came out. We were promised early access by an individual that we were in contact with, who was in charge of said job, and they, they sent us a code for free, but they didn't send it early like they did everyone else. And we were able to stream it early, but just because we got lucky. But okay, let's see. I started Twin Peaks the other day. This is from CodeStar. It says it's quite interesting. Wanted to start it because I saw it was the inspiration for things like Silent Hill and Alan Wake. Yeah, I never watched it, but that's like the OG. What's the most you've spent in a month of movies, games, and where? Like, damn. Wait, what? Horror fan? What's the most you've spent in a month on movie games? On movie? You mean like on movies and games? I don't know what that. I don't know. Leonardo says, I finished listening to the last episode of the podcast. Loved it. Beggy knows a lot, man, and she talks very well. Yes, she does. Very well spoken, and obviously we were prepared for that show, and it was fun. It was really fun. Hopefully we can have her back on and talk more shit, especially as like RE4 Remake comes out and all this RE4 stuff comes out. So even beyond that, just other stuff we can chat about. Really promised and they pulled BS on you? Yeah, man. Yeah, that happened. True story. We talked about it kind of when it came out, because as soon as we started Village, we were like, absolutely no thanks to, no thanks to Capcom for this one. It was a shame, because up until that point, even post RE Village, or up until RE Village, we were doing the co-streams, we were just doing the thing, right? And we seemed to be on their radar, which we never were on their radar. The partner or the partner stream was the first time we were actually sponsored by them to do that stream. Like everyone else got it. All the other Resident Evil channels got it. So it wasn't anything special by any means. Everyone got to play in that. But all those other motherfuckers got it early. Why didn't I get it early? Stan says there are some videos explaining that the Resident Evil 9 will take place in some kind of abandoned city. Something like Silent Hill, where you'll be playing as Rose and seeing her dad as a ghost. Well, I guess that's what the videos are saying. But those are just theories, Nothing concrete yet, so. What's the most you've spent on games and movies? I don't know. The most I've spent on a game, I don't even know. Like, honestly, it's always just like collector's editions, really. Like when Capcom puts out those collector's editions, like I never spend like $200 something at one time for one game or retro games. Like I just don't buy stuff like that. I have pretty much everything I want in terms of like not longing for expensive stuff. And as far as like movies and Blu-rays, I just kind of section it out, I look for deals and, you just got to look for sales and just, I just buy them when I can afford them, I don't really have like a, like even if I make content on it or I'm doing like updates, I just kind of get shit for me. I don't really get shit for like, oh, this would be cool to show on the channel. I got to get it because I would really want to get it, right? Same thing with Resident Evil collection updates. Like I don't do them every single month or every single week, right? I could if I was fucking making, a bunch of money, right? But, bills have to be paid and, this is my job now. So I got to be more careful with what I randomly buy and what I do. Obviously, I'm smart with my money. I know what I'm doing. So that's why there isn't a Resident Evil collection update every week, because I try to space it out. And then when I do the collection update, there's multiple items in there that I got through the time you didn't see me do a collection update. So kind of like about, balance and just, picking the stuff that, like, maybe being a little bit more picky with what you get, right? Like Vinegar Syndrome stuff, like you can buy something like this and be like, I don't even know if I'm going to like it, but I'm spending the money on it. Why am I, right? So with Vinegar Syndrome, yeah, I'm wearing the hat, and I am a fan of Vinegar Syndrome. I think they're good, but I'm not one of these people that will blindly buy stuff and just get stacks and stacks of shit, and the fucking money keeps ringing up, right? With the dollar signs and the total, and half of it's shit. So I want to make sure that it's something that is just, something I like. And obviously if it sucks, sometimes you do lose money on certain things, all right? But you can always resell it, give it away, whatever. Sweet Home that'll be cool if that is released on Vinegar Syndrome. The smaller channels need that exposure, man. I never get why some devs only favor the super popular channels. Yeah, I don't get that either. I don't fucking know why. Who knows, man? Do you think it would be interesting to play RE1 PS1 version in first person? That would be interesting, considering the first game was almost first person, at a time. Let's see. Rambo says, sorry if you answered this. Anyway, computer is acting up. Did you ever see Sweet Home horror film from 1989? The flick whose game was the basis of the Resident Evil game. So I have seen Sweet Home. I've also checked out Sweet Home, like played the NES at Perry's. I never actually checked it out on the channel, but I actually really enjoyed it, and I love the like late 80s, early 90s vibe. And Rambo, you mentioned in one of in the 1990 or top movies of the 90s when you were reading someone else's list that you liked Night of the Living Dead remake better than the original. And I think I almost agree with you on that, because I do love the original, don't get me wrong, and what it stands for. But I think that Night of the Living Dead remake is like the definitive Resident Evil film, in my opinion, because it's just so like it fits it very well. Yeah, it's just that's cool that you mentioned that, because I was like, oh man, maybe I'll send you in a request to check out that movie or review it. Maybe you reviewed it you've definitely reviewed it in the past, but maybe a re-review would be cool. But yeah, like Sweet Home is cool, and then yeah, that was definitely an influence, and I would like to do videos on all of them, individual videos on here, just talking about them, you know what I mean, and talking about kind of how they tie into Resident Evil. That would be great. Stan says, for me personally, I want to see Resident Evil 9 playing as Jill and Claire trying to find Chris. Meanwhile, BSAA are now becoming the new Umbrella and using BOWs against BOWs. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Stan, that sounds better than what they're probably coming up with, because I would like to see our original characters. I'd like to see Jill one last time, Claire, Chris, properly sent off, not in a shitty way, right? Hardcore says, do you think Capcom was shocked for not getting Game of the Year? It's like they were so confident to win, having in mind that only AAA games among the nominees. Who knows? In my opinion, it wasn't Game of the Year, but I guess It Takes Two is really good. That's what everyone thinks. Let's be honest. The Ari movie is the RE4 movie by Bentley Bros. That is the best Ari movie. Yeah. Holy crap, Bentley Bros. Yeah, I know, right? That's a throwback. Whew. Yeah. They made some good home movies. I am too definitely picky on spending money on stuff. I rarely get movies nowadays. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, I try to be very selective, and I also try to stay away from certain formats, right? Like my DVDs, I do have them on the shelf over there, but I think eventually I might have to just throw them in totes, because I need space, and I did recently get more shelves for my movies, so that's nice. I have space for now. But, I got to eventually pack away those DVDs, because, they just take up too much space. What is an Arya Challenger? Sounds lame. Gowdy's coming at his own team here now. He's just kidding. Axel says, since Jill has been missing for the franchise ever since RE5, I wouldn't be surprised if she came back as a villain without being mind-controlled, and her answer to bioweapons being more bioweapons. I wouldn't really want her as a villain, but I would want her to come back post RE5. RE3 Remake doesn't even count as bringing Jill back, because it's a remake. Yeah, Rambo. Capcom, they said there was a lot of articles back in the day, and I'll try to pull them up for a video maybe sometime, but where they would talk about the original and the remake being, influential for Resident Evil. There's even the shot when me and Perry were talking about this where she goes up the stairs and it's like the same exact angle. Like, remember when the dead hillbilly's like at the top of the step and the farmer guy, and that camera angle is literally the same angle then in that little save room corner with the stairs and the door on the side. Very, very interesting, very interesting. And of course, they're inspired by, zombie, Lucio Fulci zombies, the look of them. So it's very cool. And we talk about that, Rambo. If you listen to the last podcast we did, if you check that out, we kind of talk about that a little bit. It's very fun. It's very different because I like talking horror movies on this channel too. Obviously when it relates to something that, like Resident Evil or a survival horror game, because it's all relevant. It really is all relevant to the conversation. Were you and John invited to the gathering of the Arya movie that Residents of Evil hosted? No, we were not. I never got anything. So what if I went? Yes. Did I get an invite? Absolutely not. But yes, The Night of the Living Dead 1990, that would have been that's like the definitive Resident Evil film. And but even though it's not like Resident Evil to the core as far as a virus, a lab, but again, it's taking stuff. It's just about cherry picking that stuff. And at the time, when they're starting to get certain things off the ground in the 90s with the gaming stuff, that was the most recent one. George Romero really did that remake just to try to get some form of copyright handle back on that. But I am going to be doing a Night of the Living Dead commentary here on the channel. So stay tuned for that. And I will be actually able to do a commentary while it's on the screen because Night of the Living Dead original is public domain. So, yes. So that's going to be really cool. I would say Aliens heavily influenced RE2. Yeah, I mean, Dawn of the Dead and a lot of other stuff obviously influenced, Capcom even further. Remember says I haven't had time to check that out, but I definitely will. Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, I love Night of the Living Dead 90. I really feel that Day of the Dead had a heavy influence too. Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Especially with underground bunkers and bases and labs. That's so Day of the Dead. It's not even funny. And Bub and stuff like that. And then with Extinction, they directly ripped off the whole trying to get zombies to have human characteristics. That is straight from Day of the Dead. But I mean, again, it's no surprise that they take from American films, Italian films, Japanese films, but American culture heavily. Blue Bomber has a comment here that really just pulls at my heart, and I love it. He says, I remember renting Night of the Living Dead remake at Hometown Video so much back in the day. That's awesome, man. That's a great memory. He's from my hometown, so Blue Bomber knows what's up. He knows what's good with Hometown Video back when they were still around. And for me, it's funny, as much as I rented from that same Hometown Video that you did, and VHS tapes and whatnot, which I did countless times. I don't think I ever rented it from there. They had it because, like you just mentioned, they did have it. But the first time I saw it was probably, I want to say 2007, and it was on TV late at night, and it was like a Thursday night, and I had school the next day, but I didn't care. I wanted to watch it, and it was really good. And I remember I finished it and I got done at 2 a.m. or whatever, and I had to get up the next day. But I always have a memory with that. And that's when I was exposed to that. A lot of stuff from renting. And then of course there was some stuff that would play on TV. sometimes, and you'd be like, what the fuck is this? And then, because I remember with Comcast, you would have the remote and it would have the guide and it would pull up the movies, and I saw Night of the Living Dead, and I clicked it, and then I saw it was in color, and I thought it was like the colorized version. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I look at the info and it says 1990, and I was like, what the hell? I guess it's a remake. And yeah, Wesker Redfield says, do you wish George A. Romero's script was made? I personally felt that it could have worked and the script would have been tweaked a bit. I agree. I think maybe the script could have been tweaked a little bit, but I've always liked that script. I still would like to do a script reading, to be honest with you. That was something I planned years ago that a lot of you guys were looking forward to, and I wanted to do it one way of just reading the scripts, but then I wanted to do it a different way, and it just never really took off, but I think I could still do it. It just would take a little bit more. Horror Fan says, I miss video stores? Yeah, I do miss video stores. You know, Rambo says, sadly, I had to head out in order to get some videos done. Keep up the good work and have a good week. Thanks, Rambo. Keep up the good work with your videos, man. Keep up those requests, and looking forward to it, man. You take care, man. I do miss video stores, though. Yeah, I think, you know, when I went to Charlotte, North Carolina, I was in a video store again, and that was really cool to check that out. It was right before the pandemic. It was February of 2020. And, you know, I loved the going into a video store. And that was the first time I went into the video store and for a while, you know, because they were gone. You know, by 2009, they were gone over here, 2010. It's you know, I miss it a lot. I just miss the nostalgia. The nostalgia and renting the VHS tapes and just having something so close, you know, because it was really close. I mean, you're talking 5 minutes down the street, right? 5 to 10 minutes or whatever. And it was still in a town, and you know, I just miss it. And Blue Bomber knows what I'm talking about, right? Like, you used to walk in, and the counter was on the right, and then the pinball machine thing was to the left, or the counter used to be to the left too, because they like redid it at one point, because you used to walk in, and the counter was to the left, I think, and then there's another counter to the right. Now, Blockbuster, I never got nostalgic for, because now I do like. I know what Blockbuster was back then, but for my parents, it was cheaper to rent at Hometown Video, and you didn't need a membership to rent at Hometown Video. So that was a big thing, right? And I didn't understand that back then. I just kind of went to where my parents went to rent stuff. But I was always renting horror, and the covers, you know, like that's what I'll never forget. You know, that's what keeps those memories alive. You know, sometimes you get older and you remember stuff incorrectly, but there's certain things that are so memorable, and the artwork and everything, and bringing it home and watching it, and you know, you can't forget some of those things, right? So I remember going to movie gallery on Blockbuster when I was a kid. Missed those stores. Yeah, because like I live in a smaller town in South Jersey, so it's not like a city or anything. But it's just like, you know, and I grew up in the same town that James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd, grew up in. He grew up, you know, like literally 5 minutes away. Went to the same video stores that we went to. Blue Bomber. He rented Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from Hometown Video back when it used to be down by the hardware store, you know. So, you know, I'm not in ACO, but like I'm very close. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to give away where I live, but it's, you know, it's a smaller towns in South Jersey are very separated by woods and just a bunch of shit. So I feel like I got some Arya posters from Hometown. That's amazing, Blue Bomber. That's amazing, because one thing that I regret, Blue Bomber, is not getting the rental cases. I don't have anything. I don't have anything from, the only thing I have is a clear ball that gave you a free rental. That's the one thing I have from that from that store. If you got the free ball in the pinball machine or the bouncy ball machine, it was a free rental. But she was supposed to take it, but she never took the ball. Like, you know, because you're supposed to take it and be like, oh. But, like, I just had it. And then I never brought it in to be like, oh, I got another free. No, I just kept it because I thought it was cool. Yeah, horror fan. You were born in 83. So, yeah, you're definitely among the crowd where that was more of the thing. You know, me, while I was doing it in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, for me, it was still important because of the towns that we were in. And, you know, just like, you know, I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about in the chat. You guys were around for that time. Yeah, I never went to the OG location, but I went to the one that was in the Rax Plaza. Yes. Yep, same here. The old location I never went to either, but that's the one that James Rolfe would go to. We had a FYE. Also, I can't remember much about it, though. Maybe Babbage's is what you had, RWK. Yeah, Babbage's. We had GameStop and Babbage's. Since 2019, we've had RE games every year. Do you think we'll get one this year, or they will just release DLC? I think just DLC, and you know, maybe we'll see some more teasers for RE4. Haha, that's sweet. I didn't even know that that was a thing in the claw machine. Yeah, it was like a. I know there was a claw machine, and then later they added like. It was like you would get these bouncy balls and stuff like that, and you would just put quarters in. But sometimes you would get the clear ball would come down, and it was a free game rental or a movie rental. It was really cool memories. But, you know, some people, and horror fan, I don't know if you could relate to this, but as well, you probably can because you're a video store era guy. But the video stores were cool because I like the mom and pop ones like Hometown Video. You know, those were the ones that, you know, they did have a couple locations around us here in South Jersey, but not many. They didn't go far. And Blockbuster was the corporate video store. But Hometown would get the cool, obscure shit. You know what I mean? And that's what was really cool about the video stores, you know? That's what I always loved about, like, the mom and pop video stores. The one that I went to in 2020 was VisArt Video. It's in Charlotte, because anywhere I go, I'm always an asshole, and I always look up, you know, video stores or if there's any kind of relics that are still around. And I found one, and I signed up for a membership and everything. And they saw my address. They were like, is this guy, like, for real? And it's like, look, I just wanted to sign up for the membership. Because, you know, I rented stuff while we were there, and I returned it in the Dropbox and everything. Just really cool. Corey says, hey, man, have you played RE4 VR yet? No, I have not. It's a little out of my price range at the moment. But Faces of Death, yeah, exactly. Like, random shit like that. Dark shit that you know, Blockbuster would not carry. But yeah, no, I have to play RE4 VR. I know I probably should have played it when it came out, right? But I mean, you know, end of last year, the last couple months, obviously there's a lot of stuff I was trying to figure out. We were trying to figure out with the channel and everything else. So it just, I guess, wasn't the time. I know it would be, you know, it's not really trending anymore, but I know you guys would at least like to see it. So it would make for some good content, I suppose. You know, hopefully I'll make the money back just in super chats or support, you know, but that's really what it comes down to. Like, if I have a good month, you know, that's the problem with YouTube is, no, it's not a problem, but you only get paid once a month. So you got to make sure that if you have a good month, because if you have a shitty month, you're going to be fucking screwed. So the way I'll leave that is we'll just see how I do. You know, this is the first full month of me doing, you know, just trying to just do the best. You know what I mean? Like I said, as you guys know, RE4 VR is censored. That's true. And that's why I don't want to play it. You know what I mean? But I also don't want to say no to content that you guys would like to see. You know, because at least then I can review it. So we had a video store here in San Diego called Nort Park Video. I always loved the mom and pops. They had the most passionate workers. Yeah, exactly, man. See? Like, that's kind of what I'm talking about. It's like the people that actually cared about their job or just taking it seriously. And it's crazy. RWK says Blockbuster late fees would fucking kill you back in the day. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. It's like 2 minutes censored and not noticeable, and the gameplay is 100% worth it. Yeah, I know. VRs are expensive, man. Definitely expensive for a game, so I get the hesitation. Well, that's what I'm saying, because that's all I would play. So I'm Gen Z, so I grew up with Redbox. Yeah, Redbox was obviously around, but by then I wasn't even renting stuff anymore. Once the video stores was done, it was sad, man. Because the last hometown video in Blue Bomber, I don't know if you know this. I don't even if I know you like were kind of all around Jersey or wherever you moved, but the last hometown video that was open was Hamilton. It was in a town called Hamilton, and that's about 15 minutes away. And that was it, man. That was the last one holding on. And 2009, I think 2010, they closed, and it was sad, man. That was it, man. That was it for hometown as a whole. The one in Sicklerville closed down. I am excited for the remake of Dead Space, Stan, definitely. Gowdy says your content is class, man. Don't even worry about it. The channel will continue to grow. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, well, I think if you're genuine with your audience and, you know, you just kind of chill with the community, you know, also hit the thumbs up, by the way, if you guys haven't liked the video yet. Really appreciate that. Yeah, if you're just genuine with your audience and you're honest, people see that. You know, the minute you start being phony and you start playing to whatever, oh, wow, your sister worked at that Hamilton one? That's fucking cool, man. Like, that was the last one that I would always go to. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that was, it was next to the Subway, which is no longer a Subway. It's some, like, restaurant, like, small-ass Italian restaurant. That hometown video is an AutoZone. You know, so if you ever, I don't know if you're in the area, but I was going to say, if you talk to your sister, be like, yeah, you know that hometown? Yeah, Anthony told me it's a fucking AutoZone, which it is. But I'm happy you know that one. Yeah, that was it, man. It had the chalk outline on the ground, which is kind of funny in the game section. But yeah. Colm says, my man, hope all is well. Just check it in, drop a like, keep the content coming. Thank you, Colm. Appreciate that. Yeah, we're just kind of shooting the shit, just reading the chat's comments, talking about good old video store days and everything. I'm old school. I was renting Creepshow 2, Ghoulies, Troll, he said, etc., especially when they were new. Yeah, man. That's awesome. That's cool. I mean, because that's what a lot of horror fans, you know, that the gateway is always the video store. The gateway was, you know, getting your hands on these things. And I remember when I got into Scream, because Scream for me was also another thing. I remember I got caught reading Fangoria at school and I got thrown out while telling me I was sick. Yeah, like that was like a no-no, right? Like, I remember I used to sneak video game magazines into school, and hopefully, you know, they didn't see me when I was reading some kind of like crazy ass, you know, horror page or something. I'm passing RE4 VR out of spite. It looks incredible. My friend offered to play the quest, but the censorship is enough to put me off. Does it make a huge difference? Not really, but still. No, I know what you mean, man. I think I would probably be in that boat, but considering I'm an RE survival horror channel, I think I got to figure something out, you know, because I think it would be good for the algorithm. It would be good to grow, because it is the current Resident Evil thing. If you really think about like the last RE property to come out, RE4 VR was it in October, right? So we'll see. What's up? Ray says, dude, I love that framed RE3 poster behind you. RE3 OG is my favorite. RE to this day, favorite RE to this day, even though it got shat on. I agree. This is it's a German poster. I think it cost me about $100 or something. So it is it has another side to it too. If you flip it around, really cool. It's a double-sided, but it's rare. So. Censorship is not that bad in the game. It's worth playing. The trailers don't do its justice once you get into the game. You will change your mind, trust me. Yeah, man. RWK says Capcom is too woke these days. They're worried about that dollar. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I don't necessarily think that's true, but you know, I think that they obviously you know, because I feel like if that was the case, they wouldn't have even come out with anything RE4, considering the concept of the game. You know what I mean? So, has anyone ever interviewed S.T. Perry? Yeah, we did. Me and John did. Maybe I can reach out to him to see if we can get that published. You know, she didn't do any kind of audio interviews, only written responses. So, we could do it. We got that interview done, but it was like, it was a text interview, so it was cool. I mean, the fact that me, John, and Dustin were able to kind of sit in a room and figure out, what we wanted to ask S.T.A.R.S was kind of cool, and she was nice. It's just she just didn't do like this, like she didn't come on and like Pablo or anyone else. So what do you think is next? Think the next mainline Resident Evil game will look like? Will it be called RE9? Will it be first person? It'll definitely be called RE Resident Evil something. I don't know if they'll keep the 9, but it will be first person. They'll keep it going. Wordsky 199 says, "Hey all, what's up, man? Another leak I heard about RE4 VR is that Dr. Salvador will be Mr. X level. That'll be cool." Or RE4 Remake, not VR. I keep saying R. Hey, 3 Remake was a great game. I loved it, but they could have kept the content in the game and not cut it. I agree, Corey. I agree. Gowdy says, "Ant, what do you want from RE4 Remake? Not that it needs it, but it seems inevitable. Do you want them to keep the action-oriented gameplay, or would you rather them switch to horror?" I would want them to put a little bit more horror-esque stuff on RE4, less action, maybe switch up the island section a little bit, make that section a little bit better, maybe take out the mines. Like those are just things that I don't like about it. Maybe there should have been more to explaining, or more to showing the collapse of Umbrella instead of just telling. Maybe we can get a really cool cutscene of that. But it's the principle of censorship. Capcom has never become westernized and woke. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like they're not really in that category if people want to start kind of tossing the W word around, you know what I mean? I don't really think they're in that category. And I usually don't like to talk about these kind of things because I don't like talking about political shit or, that whole persona, but I'm in the crowd of, get that shit out of here, right? Like get that stuff out of here. Don't force unnecessary messages and stuff in my games or movies that I don't want to, because there's ways to do it. There's ways to do that. Like the stuff's been doing that for years. People have been doing that for years, but they do it in a smart way where they don't beat it over the viewers' heads and say, "Hey, you got to get this message. You got to get this message." The new Candyman is a great example of that, right? But Wordsky says, "I just bought the S.T.A.R.S novels recently. Can't wait to start reading them." Yeah, man, they're great. Speaking of what's with the new S.T.A.R.S books that don't have the OG covers, are they okay to buy? They're okay to buy. They're just like new prints. The covers are shitty, but I prefer the original ones. So, but they're still good. All the content within them are the same, and they're probably easier to get now. Stevie says, "Ant, you got to tell me some cool places to go to around here at some point. I barely know crap except for the breweries and that wacky Berlin farmers market." Well, that's about it around here, man. I don't know. Check out Sky Valley Records if you like records. Chuck's the man. So check out him. His business is great. Read that sentence again, Ant. Sorry. It's the principle of censorship. Capcom has become. Oh, you think they have become? I don't know. I don't know. I just don't. I don't think they've necessarily done that in Resident Evil though. But I know maybe some people would say because of the movie and stuff like that. But like I didn't get that vibe in like Village or 7, and there's not that form of censorship either. But we'll see. Surely they can handle Ashley differently. Adhere to change the social acceptabilities. Well, I would say maybe change the escorting to Ashley. I don't know. It's nothing new. George Romero and Carpenter were heavily. Well, that's what I was mentioning, horror fan. I was mentioning that other people have done that for years. But when movies do that and they just keep doing it over and over again and they don't have anything else to offer, that's when I have a problem, And Candyman, again, the new Candyman, I know the original Candyman touched on that a little bit, but again, they didn't beat it over your fucking head. And they're like, you have to do this. You have to think that. And it's like, holy shit, we're supposed to be watching a horror movie here. So that's where I get a little disappointed. And again, it's not like George Romero, John Carpenter really did it overbearing to the point where you couldn't even enjoy the film. And I think when that happens to a video game or a movie, that's just stupid. So, but yeah, so yes, Berlin Mart forever. Yeah, that's the I'm but yeah, Berlin Mart, that's the OG, the place. And Williamstown Farmers Market, so that's the other one. Thanks. I have to check out one day soon and spend way too much money on Deftones music. Oh, he has it. Yeah, he has it. I think he just got a bunch of Deftones vinyl in or whatever. But yeah, yeah, there's places around South Jersey, that to do. I mean, out here, few and far between. You got to like travel, so you got to travel and like go. So not travel far, but like you got to drive 20 minutes, 25 minutes, half hour. You know, but yes, the future is scary, Ty. I agree. But that's why all you got to do. I get it. I love People Under the Stairs. It's very much like Get Out in that context. Exactly. And Get Out was very well done. Like, it wasn't a perfect horror film, but even though it had some of that stuff in there, it wasn't like it had a sense of humor about itself. And it also, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's me as a filmmaker and looking at it from a filmmaker. That's just how, like, again, I'm just not really, I don't like when that shit is so blatantly like that's the only reason why you did this. Zeus says, just wanted to say, you doing LTRE and Inocula full-time is a massive inspiration to me. The content and you are entertaining, relatable, and interesting. Well, thank you, Zeus. The fact that you feel that way and you contribute is awesome. And it's definitely, Inocula, I am still like starting to try to get that thing going as far as other I don't know. Like, I want to like I didn't get Inocula to 1,000 subs yet, and I have to, because then I can do more content on it, because then I'll be actually fully monetized on that channel again. So I am slowly but surely trying to do more stuff on Inocula. Just like I'm just prioritizing this because this is like this is already monetized. So I'm just gonna be doing both. Like I try to dedicate a couple days like on my calendar over there. I got stuff written out for what I want to do for each thing, and I'm editing the short right now, so like there's a bunch of stuff going on in a good way. But yeah, man, I'm just trying my best to. It's hard, it's challenging as fuck. Not gonna lie at all. It's fucking brutal right now, but I'm trying. So all your super chats and everything, of course, work. So just go on midnight, and I've got an early start. Enjoyed this tonight. Take care. Hope you can pop by the RE Challenger stream tomorrow night, and look forward to the podcast. Peace, bro. Yeah, Gowdy, no problem, man. Take care. I'll catch you on another. I'll catch you on the other stream. Apex says Hideo Kojima is an example of an artist naturally putting a message in his work. And don't get me wrong, Capcom is not the worst in the regard. I could just see some mild influences and change. No, I see what you're saying, man. I see what you're saying, like the culture shift. Who would want a 1-for-1 3 OG Resident Evils in an Unreal Engine but keep gameplay? Well, a lot of people, I don't know. A lot of people would just want to play the originals kind of like they were, I think, But Unreal Engine would look nice, but the RE engine obviously is their main thing. When you see old wood paneling on the wall and it's about to get scary as fuck. Yeah, exactly. Hideo Kojima's work often don't have a real message, but it's artistic expression most often. Yeah, there's a better way to do it, right? I got stuck in a town in Iowa where my car broke down. I was literally in a Klan town. It was very scary, but I'm black, so it was a very personal movie to me. Oh yeah, man. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that for me, like again from the outside looking in, even me not being, like I'm not black, right? But I can still like watch it and be like, okay, like I get what the thing is here, but it's still just an enjoyable movie to where it wasn't like the best I keep saying Candyman because that's the best like example that I can get where there's like that's the wrong way to do it, I guess, in my opinion, right? Because like I understand everything will have some kind of message, right? But it's just like, but yeah, for that situation, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like getting stuck in a town, and you're just like, what the hell's happening? You know what I mean? That's interesting, and that was different too, right? Like, so that's one thing when they're doing something to kind of push the envelope a little bit, but they still really made a good movie. Candyman, it was just really boring, and it just wasn't that good. So, have you considered doing a call-in session like Let's Talk with the fans? I've done that in the past, back before the channel was like bigger. And I'll probably do that again, but it'll probably be filtered through Patreon. Like if you're able to support me on Patreon or support me on YouTube, because that's probably the best way to kind of like actually screen people and be like, all right, let's do this. And I'll probably record it, and then upload it as like a Patreon show or a main show. I've considered doing it really soon. I'm kind of revamping the Patreon, not revamping it, but just like adding more, so people get more for their dollar. So, to get a call-in show to talk about Resident Evil and horror stuff, that would be awesome, but I probably would do it that way because if I just open it to the masses, it would be a lot, and I want to make sure that everyone gets a chance. So maybe if like, if you contribute $1 or $5 and up on Patreon, you get access to that. So that's something that we can probably do this year. I'm going to try to really execute on a lot of those ideas that I have. So, but anyway, guys, I just want to wrap this up. We've been going for about 2 hours and 16 minutes now. This has been great. This is actually really fun. I want to do these more like every week where I just kind of like no real topic, just like come on here and you guys ask me stuff and read super chats and whatever. And then of course, obviously I'm going to do the live streams with the game. What the next live stream, what will probably be is going to be me doing the dice lock, trying to beat that, because I still haven't beaten that. I've gotten fucked every time, so I have to do that. And we're going to continue Tormented Souls Part 4 this week as well. So stay tuned for some dice lock and a Part 4 of Tormented Souls. And stay tuned for on Wednesday coming up. I have the Resident Evil 4 Memories video. The other day was 17 years since Resident Evil 4 came out. So obviously I did a little video talking about my memories with Resident Evil 4. So definitely check that out. Should I join Patreon as well and YouTube member, or do members get that as well? Dude, you'll get it next time. Yeah, I definitely will get the dice thing next time, hopefully. But as far as the Patreon or YouTube member, if you're on either one, the Patreon, I would recommend Patreon in terms of content. YouTube member, if you just want to like throw money in a jar each month and help me out, that's more what the YouTube members are. So you get a little green name and the badge. But I like for the call in, I'll include the members, you know what I mean? Like, so you don't have to worry about like signing up for one or the other. But if you want like, extra audio content, extra Patreon live streams and stuff like that, those live streams, those are on Patreon right now. I can work them into the memberships, but I only use one tier for memberships, just $5, and that's it. Just for now, you know what I mean? Patreon, I'm just trying to grow a little bit more, and Patreon also takes less of a percentage too, but it doesn't matter how you support me, whether it's just super chats, YouTube memberships, or Patreon. It all helps. It all helps me continue to do this. So thank you guys so much, and thank you for all the support this stream and all the support for everything else. And check out the new episode of the Let's Talk Resident Evil podcast, where we talk about the many film influences and horror influences of Resident Evil. So thank you guys, and we'll catch you later.